It was the year my nephew, Ethan, first moved to the city to attend college. He came from a quiet village full of fresh air and simplicity, and I, being his mother's younger sister, was happy to host him. I was 7 years younger than his mother, Caroline, and my life was a mixture of business and loneliness. My husband, Richard, and I had been married for many years, but our relationship had become cold, almost mechanical. We had no children, so there was an empty silence in our 3-bedroom apartment. One of those rooms became Ethan's room, his own space where he could grow and adjust to the rhythms of city life. Ethan was like any young man in his first year of college, wide-eyed and impatient, though not always confident. He spent his days chasing girls, going to movies, and exploring the bustling city life, but success in romantic relationships came hard to him. He soon found solace in his friendship with 2 local classmates, Ryan and Daniel, who became his partners in crime for late-night gambling, partying, and endless internet surfing. As for me, I was constantly working, often from dawn until late at night, and Richard was often away on business trips. We grew distant from each other, and the cracks in our relationship were not hard to see. We barely interacted as husband and wife, and I often wondered if that part of our marriage had dissolved without us acknowledging it. Living under the same roof as Ethan was curious. I tried to be a responsible, caring aunt, but I wasn't blind to how he perceived me. I was in my early 40s, but I kept in good shape, something I often heard from others. My dark hair framed a face on which youth still shone, and my figure, as Ethan had once awkwardly admitted, was like a model's. Of course, I never wanted to make him uncomfortable and behaved with restraint, but there were moments, fleeting, unspoken, when I caught his gaze, and I wasn't sure if it was admiration, curiosity, or something deeper. That summer, after Ethan successfully passed his exams, he decided to celebrate at home. Since Richard was away on a business trip and I was working late, Ethan invited Ryan and Daniel over. By the time I returned, the house was filled with the happy buzz of young people celebrating their little victories. I was in high spirits myself after a successful day at work, so when I entered the house, I hugged Ethan with congratulations and joined the company. I was dressed casually that day, in a simple knee-length black dress, but I noticed his friends pausing and exchanging glances as I poured myself a glass of wine. We spent the evening chatting, mostly about their studies, but I guided the conversation to keep it light and casual. Eventually, Ryan and Daniel said their goodbyes, leaving Ethan and I alone at the table. The wine loosened our tongues and the room filled with light laughter. What happened next still surprises me when I think back on it. One moment we were reminiscing about how the year had gone, and then there was a pause. One of those silences that are heavy on unspoken emotions. I leaned closer, or maybe he did. It's hard to remember. But our lips met, tentatively at first, then with increasing force. I recoiled, shocked at myself, but the warmth in Ethan's gaze silenced me. He took my hand, and without a word, we were in my room. That night our connection crossed a line I hadn't even realized was there. In the days that followed, we agreed to keep it a secret, a fleeting moment of weakness. We told ourselves. We resolved to remain calm and respectful so that it would never happen again. But emotions aren't always so easy to control, and sometimes the heart finds a way to defy reason. That summer was one of discovery, love of neighbor, and difficult choices, a story I carry with me to this day, locked in the depths of my heart.